Welcome everyone to our last episode in this series, though there's probably going to be more from us. This week we are covering how to get you from the tee to the green on the golf course. We will chat about ways to keep up with pace of play, which clubs to use and when, tips and tricks for riding a cart, and everything in between.
Awesome, Ash. Now we are going to show a quick video of what playing a hole will look like when you get out there. Enjoy.
Hi guys, we're out here on the Seaforth Golf Course and we're going to show you how to play a hole of golf. I am hitting from the back tees because I'm an experienced golfer and I hit it pretty far. And as you can see, my mom, who's joined me today, is already heading up to a forward tee. She is also an experienced golfer, but she doesn't hit it quite as far, so she's moving up to what just happens to be the red tees because it's more appropriate for her. I can zoom in on Mom while she's hitting. So it's really important to be ready to go and play ready golf when you're out here. We want to keep our pace up so that we're not holding up any groups behind us and so that we're not taking a really long time on the golf course. So I'm going to catch up with Mom. We'll walk together for a little bit, but then we'll go to our separate balls. When you're on the golf course, it's always important to know how far you are from the hole. So on most courses, you'll find some sort of indicator on the fairways to let you know what your distance is. For example, on this hole, you'll see the white stake here, and that means that we're 150 yards from the green. And if you zoom up a little bit more, you'll see a red stake in the middle of the fairway, and that tells us that we're 100 yards from the green. Now, some people know exactly how far their clubs go, and some people just have a general idea. But regardless, it's nice to know where we are on the fairway. So Mom's hitting now because her drive didn't go quite as far as mine, and she's all ready to go, hitting up to the green. Now I'm going to head to my ball. if you're carrying your bag, it's important that you don't let your clubs rattle because we want it to be a peaceful experience out here on the golf course. So what I like to do is just hold onto my clubs so that when I'm walking, they don't bounce and rattle against each other. I just hold on them, and that also helps me keep my stability with my bag. Mom's got a push cart, and she can push it anywhere that she likes, just not on the greens. We're on number 11. Number 12 is over there. So Mom and I are leaving our clubs in this direction. So we're going to go up to the green, and then we just have to come back this way on our way to number 12. If we left them over there, the people behind us would have to wait till we went over, got our clubs, and then brought them back. So leave them where you want to go next. So as you can see, Mom's ball is on the fringe. She's going to putt this because she's not that far away from the green. You could chip it, but we do recommend, especially for beginners, that you putt it when you're this close to the green. Now, my ball is not quite in her way, but I'm still going to mark it just so that it's not in her line of sight. When you're marking your ball, you always want to make sure that you use a flat coin. It could be a quarter, or there are fancy ball markers that people also use. What you're going to do is you're going to put the ball marker down right behind the ball as close as possible. We're going to make sure that the ball is between the marker and the hole. Then we're going to pick it up. Now we know exactly where to replace the ball, and we're going to let Mom hit her putt. So now I'm furthest away, so Mom is marking her ball. But before I putt, I'm going to look around on the green for my ball mark. My ball landed on the green, so I know there's going to be a mark. We learned last week how to fix a ball mark properly, but I'll do it again here. Now I'm going to replace my ball on my marker so that I can hit my putt. So since I hit my putt really close to the hole, I just finished out so that Mom could go and my marker wouldn't be in her way, and also that speeds up play. So we'll let Mom finish up here. Good job. So now we're going to head to our bags and head on to the next hole. Now, if you were riding a power cart, we do ask that you would keep the cart on the path around the green and also the teeing area. When you're walking, you can go pretty much wherever you like. But as I said, it's so important to leave our clubs in the direction of the next hole to help with pace of play. Thanks for watching.
Okay, Rob, that was an excellent video going over everything from tee to green and in between. I really liked how your mom was ready to go after you hit, so you're keeping up with pace of play and you're keeping everything moving. What's great about the game of golf is that before we even had COVID, we were all social distancing on the golf course anyway. We're constantly keeping moving. We're making sure we're ready to go. And this week's episode is really diving in and how to make it more enjoyable for you and your playing partners.
Awesome. So I know that's kind of something when we talk about enjoyable, Ashley, is there anything that's like a little bit unenjoyable? And that for me is always kind of first tee nerves. And I know all of us, even though we've teed it up loads of times, like still get first tee nerves. Maybe you're playing with new people or someone you don't know. And it can be nerve-wracking. People have like different expectations of you maybe because you're a pro. Do you guys have any little tips that you do on the first tee?
Yes, definitely first tee nerves are a huge thing for all levels of golfers. I think it's kind of like, holy cow, here we go. And you want to hit a really good shot and you feel like because you're on the first tee, usually there's people waiting behind for like the next tee times and they might be looking at you and that type of thing. So it's a bit nerve wracking. And plus we do encourage warming up before going out on your round, but a lot of people just go straight to the tee. So they haven't even hit a ball yet. For me as a pro, there's a little bit sort of extra pressure, I would say, but it's just really important to relax, take a deep breath. Because if you're relaxed, you're going to have a much better swing. So for me, it's just that deep breath in, let it out, and then hit your shot. Ash?
Yeah, you know what? I've been called a powder puff. Why do I have to follow this girl out here? Like, I have heard it all. So now it doesn't even bother me. And I used to put so much pressure when I was playing competitive golf about making that first shot. If I had a good one, then my whole game was going to be good. And I completely worked myself into a frenzy of making sure that first shot was good. Now I just stand behind the ball and all I'm doing is visualizing where I want my shot to go. And I'm focusing on a smaller target instead of just the fairway. And I'm only putting a positive thought before I hit the shot. I'm not thinking about the woods. I'm not thinking about that bunker. I'm not thinking about the last time I went in the pond on this hole. Because that, if your brain is hearing that, that's what your shot is going to do. So I'm, again, positive memory, looking where my ball is going to land. And like Rob, I'm taking a deep breath in and out, relaxing my shoulders so that I know I can do a full rotation. And I'm just committing to the shot.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to just mention is that if you're a beginner golfer, you probably do know somebody who golfs and they might play, 3 times a week or definitely regularly. And you kind of just have this vision of them being like a great golfer because they play all the time. But one way to sort of feel really a lot better about yourself or about starting golf is to simply go, maybe you could even grab a drink and just sit by the first tee. Or you can sit, by the 9th green or the 18th green and watch the golfers because there's so many people out there who play golf every single day of the week and they're still not that great. And so it's not about being the absolute best golfer. It's just about being able to get around the course. And if you just see that not everyone is amazing at golf, everyone has those like poor shots and stuff, then you can relax a bit more and say, okay, well, I don't have to be perfect. I can just go out there, do my thing, and make my way around the course. So definitely watch the other people tee off because you're going to see some pretty bad shots probably.
Well said, Robyn.
Yeah. I think too, like so many people only see golf on TV and that bit of golf that you see on TV is so much different than the golf that we have in every day. It's the same thing as like professional hockey. Like the hockey that we play in arenas, like for recreation, for fun, sports teams and all of that is like so different than that little bit that's broadcasted on TV. So there's a lot of shots that even the professionals make that maybe aren't always TV worthy, we'll say.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
so,
Sergio Garcia in the Masters the year after he won, where he put, what, 2 or 3 golf balls in the water in a row? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
ouch. It happens to all of us.
hmm
Yeah, that's right.
So now that we're ready to tee off, let's just chat a little bit about where to put your clubs around the tee. I know that's always something that people maybe have some questions about. They get up to the first tee, they've got their push cart or their bag of clubs, even the golf cart as well. Where do you park and where do you put your bag? So a easy thing that I do is if you're walking and either carrying your bag or you're pushing a cart, leave it so that it will be facing you when you're lining up to take your shot. So you always want to see the golf clubs and you always want to see the people that you're golfing with. You don't want anyone to be behind you and even your clubs to be behind you, because when you take that backswing, you might knock the clubs over, you might hit one of your friends. It can be very, very scary when that happens. So you always want to make sure everything's in front of you there.
Yeah. And just to kind of reiterate, in front, when you're actually like about to hit your shot, the club should be there, because you're hitting your ball this way, but the club should be in front of you. So if you're about to hit and you just lift your head up, you will see them.
Right.
And that's what you want also for your playing competitors. You don't want them up too far ahead. And then as Brittany said, behind, if they're way behind, then you hit your shot, then you have to go back and get your clubs, and then we're going to go down the fairway. So it saves you a lot of steps also if you put them in the right spot.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Absolutely. One of the questions that Robyn and I get a lot is like what clubs to use and when to use them and what is a good rule of thumb for the order. And we both feel that for the majority of your holes, you're going to be hitting a driver. Your next club will be a hybrid. Then you're going to pick out an iron, get to a wedge, and then a putter. Now, the thing is that there are going to be times where you're going to hit that club a couple times. And if your 7-iron is your favorite and you're not really happy about your hybrids, we'll come see Robyn or I. But we want you to be the most confident you can be on the golf course. So if that's your 7-iron, let's hit it 3 or 4 times. No problem. There's no rule says that you have to use certain clubs in a certain situation. We'll give you an idea of when to use them and when not to use them. But if you have a favorite club, pull it out. And the other thing is you don't always have to put it away. Like if you're in a golf cart and you're doing the buddy system, what we explain that is that if there's 2 of you on the golf cart and say Robyn's on the left side of the fairway and I'm kind of just on the right hand side, I'll take 2 clubs, approximately the distance I think it's going to be, and I'll walk over to my ball, and while Robyn's hitting, she'll hit her shot and I'll already be ready to hit mine before Robyn even gets into the cart. This helps with the pace of play, and then when I get back to the cart, if I know I'm going to need that same club again, I just leave it in my hand. You don't always have to put them back in the bag. We just want to keep things moving, and then it takes out the guesswork, because a lot of times you have 14 clubs in your bag and it's hard to know when to use them and how often to use them. And until you get an understanding of how far your clubs go, then just keep it simple and take out the ones that you like the most.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so guys, we are talking a lot about ready golf today. And so I just want to kind of backtrack and tell you what exactly we mean when we say ready golf. It is exactly how it sounds. It just means that someone is always ready to make their shot. So obviously we'll need to walk between shots, but then when we get up there where our drives have landed or even to the teeing area or to the green, we always want someone to be ready. Essentially, it should be the person that's furthest away from the hole that should be ready to hit next. But if you know, we're all sort of in the same distance or the range from the hole, whoever's ready can go. So that's just what we mean by ready golf. It just helps everything flow. And there shouldn't really be a time where everyone's just standing chatting and nobody's actually getting ready to hit unless you are waiting for the group ahead of you. Another thing to make note of is that we've talked about the train on the course where your tee time is your time, and that just keeps moving and everyone should keep moving together, all of the groups. What's important to note is that your job is to just simply keep up with the group ahead of you and not necessarily worry about the group behind you. If they are right close to you or keeping up, be conscious of that and make sure that you guys are also keeping up with the group ahead of you. But just because there's nobody behind you doesn't mean that you can just go as slow as you want. So just keep that in mind.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point, Robyn. Like, even if there is no one right behind you, we still kind of have that 2-hour period for 9 holes and 4 hours for 18 holes that, you know, you don't want to be out there all afternoon. You probably just get tired and probably sunburn. So I know in the video, Robyn, you talked a little bit about where to leave your bag when you're going up to the green to putt. Kind of you want to leave it in the direction that you're going to be walking. So this is the same too if you are going from the cart path up to the green and you have a chip shot to get onto the green still from the longer grass, and you bring your pitching wedge and your putter with you. You don't want to leave your putter in the bag and then have to walk all the way back. But when you are putting, you'll leave your wedge in the direction that you're going to go back. You don't want to leave it on the left side of the green when your cart's all parked on the right side, because you'll have to go back from the hole and then back to the cart. So the other thing with this is that way it will make sure that you don't forget it, because you'll have to walk past it again on your way to the cart. I think all of us have a very, very large collection of lost clubs, and the majority of them are pitching wedges. We don't often get a driver turned in, but sometimes.
You never know.
You never know, but that also, I know the other thing too is head covers. And Ashley, do you have some tips for head covers?
Yeah. So we get a lot of head covers turned in, and there's a couple things you can do with them. You can either leave them in the trunk of your car, you can take them off as you play and simply put them in the basket of your pull cart or your power cart, or you can simply just put them in the pockets of your golf bag until you're done your round. If you're taking them on and off, again, that takes time. They are easy to fall off if you're not putting them on correctly, and then you're going to lose them. So the best tip we can give you is just simply take them off, put them in the zipper in your pocket, and then when you go to the car, it's really important that for transporting them that you do have the covers put on them.
Awesome. So now we've made it to the green. And I did touch a bit about marking your ball on the green so that your ball's not in the way of someone else's ball trying to get to the hole. But just to add to that, we also don't want to walk on that person's line. So the line is basically the path or the place where your ball is going to roll towards the hole. And so we have talked in past videos about how important it is to maintain the greens and keep them nice and smooth, because we don't want the ball bouncing all over the place. So it is important that pay attention when you are walking on the greens. Look to see where someone else's ball is and imagine the path that it's going to take to the hole, and just make sure that you don't walk there. You can step over it. Just there's an imaginary line there. Just step over it if you really need to, or simply walk around either the person or around to the other side of the cup. And just be conscious of that when you are marking your own ball or walking over to maybe read your putt. It's just really important, and it's super good etiquette. And if you know this and you stay off of somebody's line, then it just makes it more pleasant for everyone, so that you don't have to worry about the ball bouncing around on the green.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I also wanted to just touch briefly on how Robyn marked the golf ball. You did an amazing job in the video, and it's really important that when you do go to mark your ball with the ball marker, that you are putting it behind the golf ball and simply picking your golf ball up. You did a great job of that. I know sometimes people want to put it in front of it, but we find that the best way is to just simply put it behind your golf ball and then pick it up.
Yeah.
I also would like to quickly touch on crowding. I find now, because we're not having to take the pins out because of COVID, that people are really crowding around the cup and everybody's standing really close. That sometimes makes people feel a little anxious because they feel like you're rushing them to get your shot over with. Just take a few steps back and give the person a clear line of sight without overwhelming them. Give them a chance for some success. So everybody just step back a little and don't necessarily have to rush that part of the game so much, because we don't have to take the time to take the flag out and move it around. That I just found that people are kind of crowding that area a little bit too much lately.
Yeah. And that's why I tapped my putt in when I was really close to the pin. And so then that just gave my mom room and space for her to finish her putt. And as I said in the video, it also just speeds everything up. But yeah, that's a huge point, because putting is a little bit nerve-wracking, right? And so if everyone's like all around the hole and looking at you and you can basically like hear them breathing, it doesn't exactly take the pressure off. So yeah, just, you know, be ready to hit, but also give the people the space that they need.
Yeah, and wait for them to finish too. Like Robyn was on the side of the green out of the way, but she was still waiting for her mom to finish. You don't have to, we talk about pace of play, but you don't have to run to the next hole. Like, let's just wait for the whole group to get done before we move on. Again, if you're rushing already to your bag and people are still putting, they're going to feel rushed and they're going to feel timid because now they feel like they're holding you up. So I think it's really good etiquette and it's really respectful to just wait on the edge of the green for everybody to finish before you walk off.
Yeah, that's great, Ash. And then you're standing on the side of the green where you've left your wedge, so you're not going to get it. And then you're on the side of the green that's the direction that you're going to go to get your clubs. It's all tying in together.
Yeah.
It is. And people are going to love playing with you if you do those simple things on the green.
Yeah. Awesome. So that brings us to the end of the hole. And hopefully that clears some things up for you. Maybe some misunderstandings, or maybe just you had no idea what playing a golf hole would look like. If you had any fears or questions, we're hoping we covered everything. Again, you can always email us, even though this is the last one. Email us and we will get back to you to answer any questions. But we just want you to feel comfortable on the course. And that was the whole reason we did these videos. So we just want to help women, beginners, but anyone who plays golf, whether it's frequently or you're just starting. I think you can all take some good points out of what we have said today. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I just want to, there's a couple points I want to touch on. So even though we talk about pace of play and everything, we do, all of these tips are meant to help you maintain the pace of play while staying relaxed. So we do recognize that it's a balance, that you're here to enjoy yourself, kind of switch off, while being mindful of some of the rules and the other players around you. So something that with that, it's kind of an ongoing issue is cell phone use. So some courses have policies that prohibit any sort of cell phone use on the golf course, whether it's taking a phone call or like texting during the round. On our course, like we don't have a policy, but for me personally, like when I'm going out golfing, my phone's in my bag and I might take it out to take some like photos, or like maybe if like Robyn's like, oh, can you like video this shot? I'll say, yeah, great. And we put it on Instagram. But for the most part, like you're not going to see us going around the golf course, like texting. It's distracting to your game and it's distracting from like your downtime, and it's sometimes preventing you from realizing what's going on around you. So I think, I don't know if you guys have any other like points about cell phone use, but I think we all agree that you really shouldn't take phone calls on the golf course, just out of respect to the other golfers. And then, yeah, it's just kind of distracting, I think.
Yeah. I liked what you said about like taking the videos and stuff, and like you can definitely like tag the golf courses that
we love it,
because they want to kind of have that on their social media. It's pretty cool to like see people actually on the course. Like a lot of times we're posting like photos, but to see like actually people enjoying it or being out there, we love that. So definitely do that, but don't let it consume you, because you know this is your time in nature. We talk a lot about the mental benefits of golf and just kind of having time for yourself. We're all consumed, I think, with social media and with being on our phones and connected, but this is also a time to be disconnected and just like take that time for yourself.
Yeah, and it's great family time too, Robyn. Like,
Yeah.
it's wonderful to see so many families out there giving golf a try and new players coming up, and it's just wonderful. And I think that it's really important that we do take the time to take in the nature, take in the mental clarity, take in the exercise, and take in the fact that we're outside together.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, that is so good. We've covered so much in this episode, but I do want to have one last discussion, and I think Ashley's going to start us off, but it's just about goals on the golf course. You know, we've covered all the etiquette and how to hold a club and everything, but let's just talk about goals on the course. If you're a beginner, what is even kind of the point of going out here? What's our goal?
So your goals need to be realistic and manageable and also fun. So they can be as simple as, I have some of my students just put a smiley face or a sad face, however they feel at the end of their hole. I had one of my junior students, she went out and played with her brother and she did pretty good. And then she went out with some of her girlfriends and she shot really well on the par-3 course. And her brother couldn't believe she played so well. And when she was quizzed about it, well, did you count all your score? Did you count every shot? Did you lose any golf balls? And she's like, yeah, like I lost some golf balls. But he's like, well, how could you shoot that well? She's like, well, I only counted my good shots. And I was like, that's perfect. Like, just count your good shots, ladies. Like, it doesn't have to be so serious. We can make these goals whatever you want them to be, but just make them manageable so that they become enjoyable so that you can strive for new ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Go ahead, Britt.
Sorry, Rob. Oh, I was just even thinking, like, to start, you could have a goal that's like, I want to play once every 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's good enough for some of us. And if we can do that, then you can start to build and go into more like in-depth goals. And maybe if you have a coach, you've set something up already.
Yeah, I like that because exactly, like if you haven't worked with anyone and you're just kind of taking up on your own, that's huge. Like, let's just say, okay, I'm going to go golfing. I'm going to enjoy the space. I'm going to enjoy the time. Maybe you have had a lesson though, and then we've talked about sort of maybe a pre-shot routine or something that you need to do in your swing, and your goal should be you just focus on one or two of those things. We don't want you to be overwhelmed. And an example might be, okay, I'm going to have a TV finish on every shot. That's my goal. Whether, no matter where the ball goes, I'm just going to do my TV finish. And that's just one example, but we want you to enjoy your time out there. Some people are just going out there and they literally are like, yeah, I'm going golfing. I'm just going to enjoy the social aspect. I'm going to have a great time with, my two girlfriends, and after we're done, we're going to sit and have a drink on the patio. That is my golf. So it doesn't have to be like I want to be on the LPGA tour or have the lowest score. But it really is about enjoying it, getting out there, and playing a game that really lasts a lifetime.
All right, so that wraps up episode 5. We are so thankful for all of you viewers chiming in, texting us, and giving us your questions, your likes, and sharing our content. We have had the best time getting together and educating you on our favorite thing and everything about golf.
Yay! Thanks for watching, everyone.
And we'll see you on the links.